We are back for more Final Destination because the destination is never final. What's going on, my YouTubers, subscribers? Hope you guys are having a great Friday because Final Destination Bloodlines is officially in theaters now for the entire world to watch and experience. If you're a Final Destination fan, you will absolutely love this movie. Or maybe you'll hate this movie, but it's all opinion. But I saw the movie last night and I just been talking about it ever since. And I literally just I'm at work right now, but I was like, you know what? I got some time. I have to do this video. I have to do it because my mind is just like, Final Destination, it's just on the brain. And then the movie's good. Because I just want to talk about it, even if I'm on the clock. But today's video, more or less, when does Final Destination Bloodlines take place in the entire timeline? I thought about it when I was at work, and I was just like, well, this means that, and that means this. So, you know what? I think I got it. I'm gonna give you a real quick video. Like I said, I pretty much am basing this video and everything, the information, strictly on what we learned in Final Destination Bloodlines. So if you haven't seen Bloodlines yet, go watch it. Well, you'll know, like, there'll be spoilers in this video for certain things and stuff. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Here is where I believe Final Destination fits in the timeline of the franchise, Bloodlines. Here we go. Okay, to start things off, Final Destination Bloodlines, I believe, actually, it's a prequel and a sequel at the same time. Because the first half of the movie, the opening disaster with the Skyview restaurant, that actually takes place in the, I would say, 1950. We'll say 1950s, late 50s, or mid 50s. That was told especially to us by the main character and her granddaughter. The granddaughter and her Iris, who had the vision, who was alive in the 50s. We know that because when you watch the movie, stuff like that, there's old 50s radios, 50s vintage cars, stuff like that. It looked like the 50s. Didn't see any calendars or radios. I'm going to see it again tonight. So if I catch it, then yeah. If I'm just full of crap, then definitely put in the comment section, let me know. Feed that algorithm. Next, safely say that this movie, Bloodlines, at least in the opening, is literally the first movie in this entire timeline, starting in 1950s, late 50s. Bloodlines. The next movie in the timeline is actually going to be Final Destination 5. That movie takes place, at least we're going to say, I'm just like, I'm going off top of my dome, no script. The movie takes place at least at the beginning or late 1999, going straight into May 2000. Right there, 2000. Death warns Sam that this bridge is going to collapse, and he got him and his friends off of everything like that, and they end up running into William Bloodworth, Tony Todd's character, to be like, hey, how do you, we're having visions, how do you cheat death? Bloodworth gives them this information on, like, you know, like, yeah, I've seen this type of thing done before. I just clean up. I don't make the rules. I just clean up when the game's all over. In that movie, Sam more or less gets on the plane, the Flight 180 plane, and that plane explodes, and that ultimately leads us into the next movie in the timeline, which is going to be Final Destination 1. The original. It takes place in the year 2000, I believe. Yeah, 2000, right? Sam gets on Flight 180, but ultimately Alex and his friends get off Flight 180, so now Death's like, okay, I killed these group of people, but now I gotta go after this new group of kids. So Death picks off Alex's friends one by one, ultimately kills Alex at the end of the movie. First movie in the franchise is actually now the third movie in the timeline. So you keep it up? It's going Bloodlines in the intro, Final Destination 5, and then the first half of Final Destination. So moving on. Next movie in the timeline is actually going to be Final Destination 2. We know that takes place a year after the events of Final Destination 1 because one of the characters did reference it in the movie. I think they said that it was the first 1-year anniversary of Flight 180, I believe. We know that took place in the year 2000, so it has to be 2001 in Final Destination 2. Fourth movie in the timeline. Death took care of the people on Flight 180, took all them out more or less, except Claire, who survived because she locked herself up in an Arkham Asylum. Decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to pick off some people who were supposed to die because of a butterfly effect from Final Destination 1, take them out on this big-ass pile-up. You know the pile-up. Of course, our main character gets a premonition of that, and she saves some souls, and now Death's picking them all up one by one, and ultimately does get Claire to wrap up the Flight 180 crew. So yeah, everyone dies. I think Kimberly survived because she learned from William Bloodworth that, yeah, if you only knew life can cheat death. So you kill yourself, bring yourself back, you'll be safe. You break death's chain. Number 5 is going to be the 5th movie in this entire timeline. Actually, we're picking back up. It's going to be the newest movie, Final Destination Bloodlines. That movie had to take place at least between 2001 and at least at the latest 2002. Here's why. That the opening of Final Destination Bloodlines is actually 50 years ahead of every other movie. So we know it takes place at least in 1950s, mid-50s. Spoiler alert, here's a spoiler, here we go. William Bloodworth's character was actually a little boy in the Skyview restaurant that gets destroyed in the premonition in Final Destination Bloodlines. So he survived way back then in 1950s. So him and the main character's grandmother in that movie have been plotting to be like, okay, here's how you cheat death, here's probably how you cheat death. They're coming up with strategies to keep death at bay. For the next 50 years, William Bloodworth has been giving this advice to every main character from Final Destination 1 to Final Destination 2, Final Destination 5, and Final Destination Bloodlines. We know that because Final Destination 1 takes place in the year 2000. We learned that Final Destination 2 takes place in 2001. We also learned that Final Destination 5 takes place at least 1999 into the early 2000s. If that is exactly within the 50-year time frame that the opening of Bloodlines takes place in. So that means that William Bloodworth can be alive to give all this information and stuff like that to the new characters in 5, 1, 2, and Bloodlines. Don't believe me? Okay, think about it like this. What's the next movie in the timeline? Final Destination 3. We know this movie takes place 6 years after the events of Flight 180, which was in the year 2000. Final Destination 3 with the roller coaster disaster, it had to take place at least 2006. And guess who's not in that movie? William Bloodworth. Not present in the movie at all. The main characters never visit him. What's the other movie in the timeline that Tony Stark's not in? The Final Destination, Final Destination 4, that takes place 3 years after the events of 3, and that puts us in the year 2009. So Stark's not in that. Why? Because death had already gotten him, at least by the end of Bloodlines, which we know takes place at least at the end of 2002. Having a hard time following all this. Here's pretty much the recap. In the mid to late 1950s, Final Destination Bloodlines, the opening takes place. That's when the Skyview restaurant got destroyed, but premonition happened, and Iris and William Bloodworth survived that, and they were able to live at least 50 years. The second movie in the timeline is going to be Final Destination 5, which actually takes place, at least we know, from at least 1999 to May 2000, because it intersects exactly with Final Destination 1. We know Final Destination 1 takes place at least in exactly the year 2000, so you go right there. The next movie is going to be Final Destination 2, which we know takes place exactly 1 year after 1, so that had to take place in the year 2002. The next movie in the timeline would have to be Final Destination Bloodline, because Bloodline officially tells us that that movie takes place 50 years after the Skyview incident would happen in 1950. But 50 years after that had to be the early 2000s, stuff like that. So we know that Final Destination 1 and 2 had already happened. They just happened like in the early half of 2000, 2001. So we know that Bloodlines had to take place at least 2001, 2002. And wrapping up, we know that Final Destination 3 takes place in the year 2006 because we know it takes place 6 years after 1, and that happened to the year 2000. And then capping it all off, we know that the Final Destination 4, that takes place in the year 2009, because it takes place 3 years after the events of 3, which was 2006. There you have it, your whole timeline. I know it was a little complicated me saying it because I'm just spitballing. Well, I'm not spitballing. These are facts. These are things that were said by the characters in the movie. Don't believe me? Go see Final Destination Bloodlines in theaters right now, and then you'll know, like, yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah, I gotta get back to work. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Go see the movie because it's great. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, subscribe. Until next time.